Yo, thanks for coming to my channel. I appreciate you. My name is Garen. Thank you for being here. And in this video, I want to talk about what I learned about fragrance from being on The Bachelorette. Now, who am I? Once again, my name is Garen, and I was on season 16 of The Bachelorette. That was with Claire Crawley. That was during the pandemic season. We were in La Quinta, California, which is right there in that Coachella area. Man, what an experience it was. I initially was going on that experience not knowing what caliber dudes there were going to be or what the experience was going to be like, because I never really watched the show. The only time I watched it was a former coworker of mine was on The Bachelor. So that was when it was a guy with 30 or so women. And then when I was going on the show, I did watch a couple seasons of The Bachelorette just to kind of see what it was about and all that stuff. So that was my experience. So I went there thinking like, I'm that guy. I'm finna be standing out and all this other things, as you should, right? You should have that confidence going in. But I didn't realize the level and caliber of dudes that would be there, man. It was some really incredible men that were there. Met some really cool people. But the biggest thing I learned, man, is that a lot of those guys are top tier quality men, and a big part of that was the fact that they dressed nice, they worked out, they had good careers, they had the smell good, they had the good fragrance. And that really stood out to me because I didn't really focus on fragrance at that point. I didn't really think about fragrance or anything like that. I just felt like, you shower good, you put your soap on, you shampoo, you do all your things, put on some nice lotion or whatever, and then, you're gonna smell good, which is true. But when you put on a cologne or fragrance, you're gonna smell next level. The point I'm trying to get to with this experience is basically it was the small things that these men did to stand out to be high caliber men. And I didn't really talk about the type of men that were there. So the type of guys that were there, all of them super fit and jacked, all of them very tall, all of them very well fitted. The clothes were very fitted, very stylish, and then they had to smell good as well. So I went in thinking I was like going to be that guy, and I went in going into experience where it was like men of all high caliber, and I still, felt good about being there. But it was just really cool to see other guys you could look up to and say like, oh wow, this guy's really doing it in life. This is not some show where it's like bummy people, And I noticed that a lot of them had fragrance, and I was like, man, I didn't even like think about that. That was like the last thing on my mind was what to wear. And now one of the first things I think about is what to wear when I'm leaving my house. And I'm just obsessed with fragrance. I love it. I think that it's just such a fun, interesting hobby to have now. You see, I have a bunch right there. I have a bunch right here. I have a bunch over there. How I got into it was through TikTok Shop. I started selling products on TikTok Shop, posted some videos on fragrances. Jimmy Choo Man Blue blew up for me. And then I just dove in from there. Ended up becoming a top seller for the fragrance category and a top 1% seller on TikTok Shop in general, which has just been a crazy experience and a huge blessing. When it comes to fragrance, it can really enhance your life. It can really put you on another plane, on another level when it comes to how you're presenting yourself. And with fragrances, you really only need like 3. Right? I would say a daily wear, something you could wear to work, something you could wear out in the daytime, and something that just is generic and just can be good in any setting, like your Aqua di Gio, your Jimmy Choo Man Blue, your Versace Dylan Blue, your YSL Myself. Those are good fragrances that you could really wear in any setting. They're pretty affordable, except for YSL Myself. That one's a little bit higher, but the ones I mentioned are all pretty affordable. And so those are like your daily drivers. You can wear them anytime, really anywhere, any season. You got to have your date night stunner. That's like your His Confession. That's like your Creed. There's so many things I could think of solid date night fragrances. Your JPG Lamal Elixir. That's another good one. And so it's good to have that date night stunner, something that makes you feel good when you're going outside trying to meet people, or you're going on a date, or you have an anniversary, or you're going to a wedding, something where it's more celebratory. And then I would say third is probably your like citrus, bright, like daytime vibe. Like a lemony citrus type fragrance, like a Dolce & Gabbana light blue or a Midnight Frost tangerine, Versace Eros Energy, those type of vibes. You really only need 1, but if you're gonna have 3, I feel like you could have the like generic one, your date night stunner, and then your like bright citrus type fragrance or daytime type fragrance, like your LV Imagination. I just like was really admiring those guys that I was on that experience with. And one of those things was, well, I admired how they all worked out every day. So that inspired me to want to work out more, to have better fitted clothes, and to have better smell good. And that was my first experience where I was like, oh, wearing fragrance is next level. And then it took me a few more years to get, some bottles of fragrances. And then I looked up upon TikTok Shop and now have a ton of fragrances. So I love talking about it. I love the experience of smelling something new. I love the experience of smelling good and people out complimenting you and, wanting to be next to you and near you or ask you what it is you're wearing. It's a good experience. So I say all that to say, take some time to find a men's fragrance that works for you, or women's fragrance, whomever is watching this. You can get one that's a little bit pricier, like over $100, over $200. You can get ones that are $30, $40 that are stunners. Some of my most amazing, stunning fragrances are $30, $40, even some that are like $25. And so you can get like one expensive one and then like two more affordable fragrances that will last long, are quality, especially from the Middle East. A lot of Middle Eastern fragrances are more affordable. I guess just the way they produce them. You don't need to have a $400 fragrance to get compliments. I can get compliments with a $30 fragrance the same way people with a $400 fragrance can get one, like a Trolley Elixir. This is one that gets me compliments, and that fragrance is about $30. That's it. If y'all have any questions, just drop them down below. Any comments, drop it down below. We'd love to hear anything you all have to say about this video. I really just wanted to talk about that experience that I had and wanted to share that. So for those of you who watched to this point, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Make sure you like the video. If you liked it, make sure you subscribe because I'm just posting a lot more fragrance content. I hope to connect with you. All right, everybody. Thank you.